You're sitting somewhere right now, maybe on a couch, maybe on a train, maybe waiting for a video to load for just a moment. Nothing is happening. Almost instantly, your hand reaches for your phone. Not because something is urgent, not because someone needs you, just because your brain cannot stand the feeling of doing absolutely nothing. That quiet, restless sensation has a name: boredom. Most people treat it like an enemy, something to escape as quickly as possible. But the real story is far stranger. What if boredom is not a flaw in your mind at all? What if it is one of the most sophisticated tools your brain has ever evolved? It sounds impossible. After all, boredom feels unpleasant. It makes time slow down. It makes you restless. It pushes you toward distraction. Why would evolution ever preserve a feeling like that? Because for almost every human who has ever lived, boredom wasn't a waste of time. It was information. Long before smartphones, TV, books, or even cities, your ancestors spent their lives searching for food, watching for predators, making tools, and staying connected to their tribe. Every calorie mattered. Every decision carried consequences. Doing the same thing for too long could become dangerous. Imagine spending hours searching a forest where no fruit grows. Imagine fishing in a river that has already been empty. Imagine staring at the same patch of land while a better opportunity exists just beyond the next hill. If your brain simply accepted repetitive failure forever, you probably wouldn't survive very long. Instead, evolution created something remarkable. It created discomfort. Boredom is your brain's way of asking a simple question. Should you still be doing this? That question has echoed through human history for hundreds of thousands of years. Today, it feels like an annoying itch. Back then, it could mean the difference between life and death. Researchers studying motivation often describe boredom as a signal, rather than an emotion with no purpose. It tells you that your current activity is no longer providing enough reward, learning, or progress. In other words, your brain starts encouraging exploration before your environment forces you to. You leave, you search, you discover. That single mechanism may have helped humans spread across nearly every environment on Earth. Think about it. Every major discovery began because someone looked beyond what already existed. New hunting grounds, better shelters, different migration routes, improved tools, fire agriculture. Curiosity and boredom are surprisingly close relatives. One tells you something is interesting. The other tells you it isn't. Together, they quietly shape almost every decision you make. Modern neuroscience supports this idea in fascinating ways. When you become bored, your brain doesn't simply switch off. In many ways, it becomes incredibly active. One of the most important discoveries came from neuroscientist Marcus Raichle and his colleagues, who identified what is now called the default mode network. At first, researchers assumed this network represented the brain doing nothing. They were wrong. When your attention drifts away from the outside world, this network becomes highly active. Your brain begins replaying memories, imagining future possibilities, solving problems in the background, and connecting ideas that seemed completely unrelated just moments before. Some of your most creative thoughts don't appear while you're working. They appear while you're showering, walking, looking out of a window, or simply being bored. Have you ever struggled with a problem for hours, given up, and then suddenly found the answer while doing something completely unrelated? That isn't luck. Your brain kept working after your conscious attention moved elsewhere. Psychologist Jonathan Schooler has spent years studying mind wandering, and his research suggests these seemingly unproductive moments often support creative insight. When your thoughts are allowed to drift, distant pieces of information begin forming unexpected connections. Your brain becomes less focused. But sometimes, less focused means more creative. This creates a strange paradox. The moments that feel the least productive can quietly become some of the most valuable. Unfortunately, modern technology has changed this ancient system. Your ancestors couldn't instantly eliminate boredom. You can. Every spare second now contains an escape hatch. Open an app, refresh a feed, watch another short video, listen to another song, reply to another notification. Each tiny distraction delivers a small burst of novelty. Your brain loves novelty. The chemical messenger dopamine helps reinforce behaviors that might lead to useful discoveries. Thousands of years ago, that reward encouraged exploration of the real world. Today, the same system can become trapped, exploring endless digital content instead. Your brain cannot easily tell the difference between meaningful exploration and infinite scrolling. Both promise something new. Only one actually changes your life. Researchers at the University of Virginia demonstrated just how uncomfortable people find boredom. In a famous experiment led by Timothy Wilson, participants were asked to sit alone with nothing but their thoughts for a short period of time. No phones, no books, no conversations, just silence. Many participants disliked the experience so much that some voluntarily gave themselves mild electric shock rather than remain alone with their own minds. Think about that. People preferred physical discomfort over mental stillness. Not because silence is harmful, because modern brains have become unfamiliar with it. And yet silence is exactly where some of your best thinking begins. Every moment you automatically eliminate boredom, you may also eliminate the mental space where reflection, creativity, and long-term planning naturally emerge. Your brain evolved expecting empty moments. Now it rarely receives them. The result isn't simply less boredom. It may also be less imagination, less reflection, less original thought. Because sometimes the most important thing your brain can do looks exactly like nothing at all. The consequences reach further than creativity. They shape the way you understand yourself. When your mind has no external task demanding its attention, it often turns inward. It begins reviewing conversations you barely remember. It replays mistakes. It imagines future scenarios. Sometimes it invents entirely new ideas. This process can feel messy, but it is one of the ways your brain updates its internal model of the world. Think of it like cleaning a room. From the outside, it doesn't look productive. Things are scattered everywhere before they become organized. But without that temporary disorder, nothing ever finds its proper place. Your thoughts work in much the same way. Psychologist Sandi Mann has spent years studying boredom and its relationship to creativity. In one of her experiments, participants first completed an intentionally boring task before being asked to solve a creative challenge. Surprisingly, the people who experienced boredom often produced more original ideas than those who had not. Why? Because boredom encouraged their minds to wonder. Instead of remaining locked onto one narrow path, their thinking spread outward, exploring possibilities they normally would have ignored. That may explain why some of history's greatest insights arrived far from laboratories or classrooms. Ideas appeared during long walks, quiet evenings, endless journeys, moments where nothing obvious was happening. Even Charles Darwin built long daily walks into his routine. Continues the next time you find yourself reaching for your phone simply because nothing is happening. Pause for a moment. Notice the feeling instead of escaping it. That restless silence may not be an empty space waiting to be filled. It may be your brain preparing to do some of its most important work. So the next time you find yourself sitting somewhere with nothing happening for just a moment, remember this. That quiet feeling you call boredom isn't proof that your brain has nothing to do. It may be proof that it's finally doing exactly what it evolved to do.